my name is Bula from Turbojugend Umuk, and you're listening to Turbojugend Radio.
So, hello everybody. Chebesta from his Denim cave in Cologne, Germany on a lazy Sunday afternoon. Just came back from Eindhoven in Holland, went to the Speedfest and experienced a nice Saturday afternoon turning into an evening with wonderful Jugens from all over the places. Lots of Jugens from Holland, Belgium, Beijing I saw, Sarajevo, like basically an impact of Jugens from all over Europe, which truly amazed me, and I can only recommend going to check out the Speedfest next year, which always takes place the end of November in Eindhoven in Holland, set up by not yours truly, but one of my favorite bands, Peter Pan Speed Rock from Eindhoven, the city itself. So if you ever get the chance, go there, go to Speedfest. It's amazing and it's beautiful. They have 3 stages with all sorts of bands. We saw the Addicts play, UK-based punk rock band. We saw Midnight play, Jurkis from Turbojugend, Kurksled's favorite bands, they played. And of course Peter Pan Speed Rock played. And a shitload of other bands played, not to say the least. After midnight, Turbojugend played, and Turbojugend was freaking out, and Tony really gave us a good show. And they ended the show by concluding the concert with another tribute to Dire Straits' Money for Nothing. So that was that. It was a killer weekend. I'm regrouping now. My body hurts. I have severe bruises all over my body, but this tells me that yes, it was a good evening. It was a good night out there in Eindhoven. But today let's focus on the podcast. This will be the first podcast with only one single topic. This being Jugendwart. We have on previous podcasts been talking about the ambassadors of Turbojugend, and we pointed out that there are several pillars of the Jugend. There is the Negro, the band itself, and then there's the Jugendwart as well. So we would like to go into the details of Jugendwart, and I got the chance, and I flew over with my Denim Learjet to the windy city of Chicago, Illinois, and talked to an old school Turbojugend member, Marcus, aka Balthasar Cathesis, who is pointing out the issues and all the things that Jugendwarts are dealing with. And just yesterday in Eindhoven, I got the chance, and I did another interview with 2 wonderful members of Jugendwarts, as they are talking about the recent developments lately and around the end of the year, starting and the start of 2015. So I would again, recommend sitting down and keep your pants open, closed, not keep it closed this time, and touch your wet insides, and maybe it soaks through the denim if you're lucky enough and be really aroused. But this will be a very good episode of Turbojugend Radio, episode number 17 that is, and with solely one focus, that is Jugendwart. So listen on and keep supporting the podcast.
Turbojugend update.
Turbojugend Radio goes down under. Not to Australia, but we're going to the basement. We're sitting in the basement in Chicago, and where a band is playing upstairs, which you can probably hear upstairs. But I don't really care about that, because next to me is sitting the principal of Turbojugend. Can we call you like this? It's Balthasar Cathesis from Turbojugend Chicago, and we will be updating Jugens on Jugendwart. We had a discussion about the Turbojugend ambassadors few months ago, and now we would like to add on to this and ask Marcus about, that's his real name, Balthasar. We'd like to ask him about the Jugendwarts, because lots of you guys out there had contact with the Jugendwart, and I would like to ask Marcus and Balthasar to explain what exactly is the Jugendwart.
First of all, welcome to Chicago, Chibesta. So what is Jugendwart? Jugendwart is part of the organization of the Turbojugend. We spoke about it indeed a few months ago when we just went down how is the Turbojugend organized by the chapters, the band, the mail order, and Jugendwart. And Jugendwart is taking care about the administration of the Turbojugend, approving new chapters, resurrecting chapters who have problems with being inactive, and taking care about problems within the Turbojugend within those chapters.
Yeah, and when I see your work, I mean, I've personally applied for Jugend almost 11 years ago when I founded, or a friend of mine founded Turbojugend Söngerknaben Wien, and what we did, we got into online and I got into contact with you guys, and we got on turbojugend.net, right? So that's the organizational base of Turbojugend and the Turbojugend. So what you basically do is you administer Turbojugend, which means that you take take the new Jugens into the Jugend. You go online and make them officially a Jugend. Is that what you do?
Yeah. I mean, I think one of the wise decisions when the Turbojugend was born was this idea of somehow have a central organization. Yeah, this happens if you have Germans in charge, and that was one of the ideas of Turbojugend St. Pauli, that if there are other chapters, then you somehow register that, and you sometimes have a little bit of look onto who is starting a Jugend. First of all, for your own curiosity, because it's suddenly pretty cool if you have a Turbojugend at a unique place in the world. Oh, the first chapter in Russia, the first chapter in China, pretty cool. Or we have a chapter in Kuwait. These are just cool things to know. On the other hand, we somehow would like to make a little bit sure that if somebody founds a Turbojugend, that his understanding of the Turbojugend is the same of those who have founded the Turbojugend, and somehow made this unique lifestyle. So therefore, from the beginning, there were always persons registering the chapters and somehow bringing those chapters in touch with the existing worldwide Turbojugend. And at the beginning, these were just members of Turbojugend St. Pauli doing that. I mean, the first one who started was Pete Orno, then Lenin took over, then I took over, so Balthasar Katasis, Turbojugend St. Pauli, then for a while Santanico Pandemonicum from Turbojugend St. Pauli was doing that. And at a certain while, I mean, we had so many new chapters. Imagine to the party animals time, we had 60 new chapters per month, yeah? I mean, this was really a crazy explosion. So at a certain time we said, okay, why should somebody do that? Why not just get a team doing it? And that was the idea to then call that Jugendwart, because we of course needed a German name.
What does the name Wart really, Jugendwart really mean? Can you translate that into English?
Well, I mean, it's a keeper of the Turbojugend. So the Wart is a German word for somebody who takes care about something.
Okay, so like a Hauswart, like a Torwart.
Yeah. Well, who takes care about that no ball is getting into
the goal, right?
Into the goal. Yeah. So no, it's the keeper of the. It's a keeper of the Turbojugend. We realized actually later that's a horrible name because Wart has of course a different meaning
in German history.
Not in German history and in the English language, yeah, because I mean, Wart is what you see in Lemmy Kilmister's face, yeah. But
but still, chicks like to suck on it. So
well,
a Wart is not always a bad thing because you can suck on it.
We now get off topic in this dungeon.
Yes.
No, but this is all about that, and now we have a really cool international team. I mean, we have two Hawks from Aberdeen. We have Turbo Young from Belgium. We have Becky from the United States, and then we still have I mean, I'm still involved. So now we have far more persons doing that and helping with Jugendwart and ensuring that this is a success. I mean, recently Denim 666 from Mexico joined. So because we want to somehow help the chapters in South America to grow. We have just a feeling that there's a lot of potential for Turbojugend, and the problem there is the language barrier. So we now have somebody who could help there and somehow can help having also a strong Turbojugend base in Southern America.
Okay, so you were mentioning that you need to have a centralized organization doing it, but now you decided to have, because of the many Jugends worldwide joining it, you decentralized it, and you right now we have the luxury of having people in charge all over the globe. They do understand not only the language, maybe English, maybe, but in addition to that, it might be of advantage if you speak Spanish, as I understand. So you have a global network of people who really take care of the whole administrative aspect of the whole Turbojugend. Talking about the Jugends wanting, or people mailing you guys and asking you guys to join the Jugend. Can you name a few examples of, are people exactly buying the Kutte, or is that mandatory to do to become a Jugend?
Of course, I mean. We have not many rules, but one of our rules is that we don't allow fascism, we don't allow racism, and we require that if you are a member of the Turbojugend, that you have a jacket. And our understanding is that there is only one place, the Turbojugend mail order, where you get that jacket, because otherwise. And this also helps with the centralized component, because the mail order dudes, they are taking care that only somebody who is a member of the Turbojugend can get a jacket. Otherwise, if we would decentralize that, Turbojugend would not anymore exist in the way we know it, because then everybody could just do his own jacket and could just put anything on it, and we suddenly would have persons in the Turbojugend which we think do not belong into the Turbojugend. And we are not selective here, but we don't want to have right-wing persons in the Turbojugend. And believe it or believe it not, but it happened. Even so, we clearly say that we are anti-fascist. We still had persons asking, we would like to start a Turbojugend because we are fascinated by the word and because it's so similar to Hitlerjugend and stuff like that. And we said, oh my God, guys, we don't want you to have you in, because this is not what Turbojugend is about.
Okay, but going back to the registration process, have you had any Jugends that wanted to apply for Jugend and did not have a jacket?
Well, I mean, the typical thing is that the persons first apply for their chapter, and then as soon as they are registered, they put up their names, and then they are able to get their jacket. So the order is typically that you have your chapter, and then you get your jacket.
Okay, how does the connection between the mail order and the Jugendwart works, really?
I think it works very well. We are friends with them, or now with Pandemian and 666 joining Jugendwart, or has joined Jugendwart. I mean, they are part of it. And we work together very well which is very simple. I mean, if somebody asks us a question about a jacket, we forward that to the mail order, and if the mail order gets a request and say, hey, I would like to resurrect that Turbojugend because they appear to be inactive, then they send this request to us. Like, for instance, recently Chuck was on tour in UK, and he met somebody who wanted to resurrect Turbojugend Manchester. So he put her in contact with us, and we took care about that. And now we have a new Manchester chapter. So I think that works beautifully.
Okay, so that's a balance between the because if somebody gets a jacket, that's a given fact, and it's also a commercial transaction, right? So, and there's money involved, which usually not always, but it can cause some trouble. So that's actually the because you guys are checking on the whereabouts of the Jugends, and Chuck de facto manufactures the jacket and embroiders it. That this is basically the balance of the Jugends, because there will be a certain a need of checking the jackets and of taking care of the whole Jugend cultural aspect and the manufacturer. But this works well. But this basically happens online, right? On email.
Yeah. But you say a very important point, and I think that caused some confusion in the past. All the persons I just said who took care about the Turbojugend administration, they never have been involved in Turbojugend business. I mean, as you know, I don't want to be involved in Turbojugend business. So Jugendwart is really taking care about what you just said, cultural aspects, and other persons are dealing with the business affairs.
So, for how long have you been doing this, the Jugendwart?
I started in 2005, and I'm more and more getting in the background.
Okay, but it's almost 10 years. Within the 10 years, I can only imagine, like all sorts of things that you've come across with Turbojugend names and Turbojugend warrior names. So what was this? Can you just give us a few examples, just for people to get a picture on what things are taking place? What was the craziest Turbojugend name you've ever experienced, or warrior name?
Well, that's a good question. It's a hard question. Let me start with something positive. So sometimes persons send only a one-sentence statement about, I want to start a Turbojugend. But there's also the opposite happening. So persons really sending in large letters why they want to start a Turbojugend. And that's always really fun to read, because those is always, these persons are really dedicated to it. And the most amazing thing was a French chapter who also did some snowboard stunts and stuff like that. And they sent a video, with why they should join Turbojugend and why they think they are a great fit.
You still have this video?
I still have this video. That's pretty cool. But there was one chapter who sent a presentation about who they are, what they have planned. And
a PowerPoint presentation?
Yeah, it was a PowerPoint presentation. I mean, that was a little bit weird, but on the other hand, also pretty cool. Yeah, that is fun. Then we all know that there is an awesome amount of warrior names around. And I don't want to give now any favorite, but there are very cool warrior names around. There are only a few warrior names where we say, no, we don't want to have that.
Give an example.
Well, everything which is connected to Adolf Hitler. Persons are. It's a regular thing, and we always say no. This will not happening. It is not happening for the simple reason. In certain countries, we already need to explain Turbojugend and has to do something with right wing. So we don't want to have anyone with a warrior name which is inspired by perhaps the prime evil of Adolf Hitler, and say, hey, you walk around with this jacket. This does not do any good. And the same thing is with something with Stalin and others.
Okay, but so we mentioned that actually on the first podcast with Turbojugend Nazis. But why do you think why do people applying for Turbojugend are always coming up with Hitler? Why is that? What's wrong with people? I have an idea, but I just wanted to ask you.
I don't think that there's anything wrong. The thing is just, as we all know, Turbo Negro and Turbojugend is a statement about being politically incorrect. And in a time where political correctness is everywhere, I think it's rather refreshing to have that. And I think this is fine. But it's a difference if let's say somebody does this who's perhaps a band member or something and is able to put it in the right context, or this is somebody which we don't know who might cause us a lot of troubles by doing that. So, somehow we cut the line there, even so we clearly are not a politically correct association, and we don't want to be. Yeah.
So this is the interpretation of true. Basically, the origin is a interpretation of punk rock, which is supposedly provocative. But at some point, we have to cut the line or tell people what is not acceptable, and Hitler and all those Nazi stuff is not acceptable. And we have all these military terms which are okay, which are provocative enough. Just looking at us with a uniform, so to say, they could being in uniform.
Yeah, sure.
But if it gets close to Adolf Hitler, we just cannot, or you guys are not accepting it, and you should not accept it. and I'm totally behind that idea because we want to keep Jugend or people. You don't want to go out and spend the whole evening or half of the evening explaining why you would want to provoke with that. It's not worth it. And we from our experience, we can tell that if you put like anything close to a right-wing organization, you will have more trouble than fun on an evening. And it's Turbojugend is provocative and fun, but still there's a certain border and right-wing stuff and names and whatever. If it crosses a certain border, it's not acceptable. Going back to the Jugendwart, so I think we got it across pretty well that there are certain parts of the Jugend with being the band, the Turbo Negro, and the ambassadors, which are sort of the culture keepers, maybe. Is that an explanation?
Or the Supreme Court, or
yes, but we don't want to rule and judge stuff. Yeah. Me being an ambassador myself, it's not about ruling, but still keeping Turbojugend on track. But apart from that, we have the production of the thing that makes us Jugend, which is the Kutte, right, which takes place in Jack Maple's empire of Denim, as I might put it. And still, there's the much needed part of the administration, because it's hard work. And how many hours? Just give the audience just an idea of how much work you put really into the Jugend administration per day or per week.
Well, you can somehow say that we get somehow per day something like 20 emails.
Okay.
And this does not sound much. It only gets a problem if there is one guy doing it and then you suddenly were for 1 week in vacation and then you find 140 emails, which you all need to take care about that. And we somehow distributed that, so which just allows us to do things in far more detail and also interact with the chapters in far more detail. So I would say that a Jugendwart member perhaps does every day half an hour or something, which is somehow connected to.
But still, I mean, half an hour a day is, it's a part of your day. I mean, if you work for 8 or 9 or 10 hours a day, it takes an additional 30 minutes of your private life. So that's actually work, right? You do for Turbojugend.
Yeah, it's work, but it's also passion. I mean, it's fun. The cool thing is you get to know the new members, and the cool thing is you get also to know the members from the very weird countries. Yeah, I mean, one of the funniest things was when some guy contacted me and said, he wants to start Turbojugend in Kuwait. And I said, are you in Kuwait? He said, yes. I mean, and how do you have a punk rock life there? He said, well, what we do is we drive around in our car on the highway, listen to Turbo Negro and drink beer, yeah? I mean...
So that's punk rock in Kuwait?
That's apparently punk rock in Kuwait. Or I was in China and met there some persons who then were interested in starting a Turbojugend there. I mean, this is really... I mean, this is really a cool thing to do that, and this, I think this is all what inspires us and just keeps us interested in doing that for fun for that long time.
But still, it's kind of quite an impact on your life. You have 30 minutes and 100 mails per week or whatnot. It will impact your life. So I think it's we have to be grateful for people like really putting up with it and doing it and reading through. It's not always the nice, the nice pink emails when I had and that the world is nice and whatnot and then we're all friends and stuff, but also difficult decisions and also as far as the political stuff goes and also people joining, rejoining. How about the topic of old chapters? I mean, Turbojugend is growing. It's getting older, and we are getting older. Look at my face; it's getting older as well.
Still handsome. Still.
Maybe well, thank you, honey. But it's getting old and up there in age. But still, I mean, with time, if like a Jugend like that has been founded in the early 2000s, and people are getting married and kids, and they don't care. They don't decide to get out of the Jugend, and a new Jugend wants to join the chapter or start the chapter or restart the chapter. How about restarting a chapter?
That's an interesting topic. So, a long time we were really allowing any chapter. And that was then also the time, that was perhaps 2004, 2005, where the so-called fun chapter started. Fun in the sense that it's not a chapter which is based on a location. Before, we always had a Turbojugend which was based on a graphical location. We had a Turbojugend which is just a funny idea or stuff like
Give us some, or give me some examples for that. Is it like, I remember one awesome Turbojugend name from Berlin, I know. It's Turbojugend Bruce Lee sein Grab.
Yeah. For instance, yeah. But we also had, for instance, Turbojugend Mos Eisley from some Star Wars fans, yeah. And
it got part of a pop cultural thing more.
Yeah, I mean, it was just persons saying, "Oh, I don't want to start that because, for instance, my friends live there and there and there. We don't have a location or something, so we would like to do something like that." Or there were persons who said, "Oh, I'm already part in that chapter and that chapter and that chapter, so I would now to start something which is something completely different." The problem was, however, that time told us that the chapters who stood active in most of the cases are the chapters who then also could meet on a regular basis. So that were the local chapters. And we somehow decided with discussing that with a lot of persons about 2 years ago that we would like to go more to a classical approach of the Turbojugend by putting the emphasis more on let's say location chapters, the old idea. We still allow fun chapters, but you really now need to argue a bit for us and need to tell us why this is a good idea and why you really would like to put a certain amount of work in a chapter to really make this a real chapter and not something you would like to have written on a jacket. And this, of course, then also brings the problem with exactly what you said. Somebody started a chapter 10 years ago. The guys are not anymore interested, but they somehow hold the location name. So should the new guys now do something new, or should they somehow take over the chapter?
How do you handle that thing?
We changed that approach. So in the old days, we said, no, we cannot do that. And we always left it with ask the persons to start a new chapter. And let me give you a prominent example. This is Paris. Turbojugend Paris was started by one dude who never did something and somehow blocked that chapter name. And persons told me from France that this person's even never got a jacket. But somehow he blocked the chapter name in France. And then there was some, Cato did that. He encouraged some guys then to start Turbojugend Paris Fuck the World. And they are now the active Paris chapter. But in nowadays, he would do this differently. We would talk to the guy and say, okay, hey, anyway, either you get your chapter really starting and also talk to that recruits and see if you could bound to them and get some real Turbojugend started, or otherwise you better give them the chapter because they will do something with that. And in the most of the cases, we just solve that by talking about that. We recently had a chapter in Canada where nothing was really going on, so we had a long discussion with the president and we provided him with a few ideas what he could improve, and then he decided, hey, I love the Turbojugend, I would like to be part of the chapter, but I give the president to somebody else who can really do something with that chapter. But in most of the cases, it's really that we try to get a hold of the old members, of the existing members, and we try to find out what is their understanding. Sometimes they also say, yeah, we don't are active anymore, but we still meet, and then we leave them the chapter, and the persons have, of course, then to start a new chapter. But quite often we found, that nobody takes care about the chapter anymore, and then it's better to have persons taking over this chapter instead of just taking over starting a new chapter.
Yeah. Seems like that first after some years the Jugens with the FTW, the Fuck the World is sort of like if it's not working out properly, the Fuck the World is always the more active but second chapter, like from a timely point of view, it's the second chapter of the city but still the more active chapter. That's why they would add the FTW to the Fuck the World to the name of the chapter. But I think we really got a really good impression of how much what the Jugendwart is all about, and how much time you guys really put into that, and also how much the Jugend really needs that administrative part of the of Jugend, because it's hard work. I mean, it's if you just have a decent job, and not only a decent job, but a job that keeps you busy all week, and you still add every 30 minutes a day. It's another job basically, but it's very important, since we can see that we have to have this base of the Jugend, and it happens on Turbojugend.net. And I think it's really important for you guys to keep the whole thing going, because without that, Chuck, who does the jackets, will be just no man's land basically. So there's a huge need for that connection between Chuck's manufacturing business and the Jugendwart. So Balthasar Cathesis, I do thank you for that in-depth look on the Jugendwart, and I hope to have you guys back on the podcast soon. You have all the knowledge. I'm gladly using it to put the knowledge back to the Jugend, because I think it's very important for you guys out there to know what people really are doing for the Jugend, and I think you give a really clear picture about the Jugendwart. Thank you.
My pleasure, Sebastian. Now we have more drinks.
We sure will.
The Joker in the Back by The Addicts, the band that I just saw last night performing in Eindhoven. Wonderful band, beautiful magician punk rock show they did, as they usually do. And I can only recommend going there and checking them out while they're still touring and while they're still existing. So really, if you get the chance, go see The Addicts play. Thank you. My thanks goes out to Balthasar Cathesis, who did this wonderful interview with me in Chicago in the early summer of this year. And I would like to add on with the Jugendwart topic, as I talked to Jan and two Hawks from Turbojugend Aberdeen, who are serving the Jugend as Jugendwarts. And as they will be going into more details, and we will be talking about more current and actual discussion about topics that they deal with, and something you should really get to know and spread the word, because we are updating Turbojugend.net, and we need your help out there, not only the presidents, but each and every Turbojugend member. So stay on the podcast. Totally important information coming up as Two Hawks and Jan are going into details.
All right. So Turbojugend Radio is at the Speedfest in Eindhoven, and in beautiful Holland, maybe not beautiful, I don't know, but in Holland anyway, with Turbojugend, right, and Two Hawks from Turbojugend Aberdeen and Turbojugend Genk, respectively, as we would like to point out the everyday life of Jugendwart, which we'd like to point out, and then further along stress what you do and certain policies you're following. So maybe you can describe your everyday life as a Jugendwart for the Turbojugend and Turbojugend Radio.
So basically, me and Duncan are responsible for adding every new chapter that joins Turbojugend. Doesn't matter which chapter, but me, Duncan, and Van Diemen, we decide if you get approved or not.
Mm-hmm. What is the point of approval? So everybody who tries to log on to Turbojugend.net, it will hit your mailbox.
If you fill out the form like on Turbojugend.net, I want to join a Jugend, we will get the email and we will respond to you as quickly as possible, stating like, look, we want to set up your chapter, or look, we have a problem with your name, you need to change it. Mm-hmm. For example, say a fun chapter. And if there's a problem, we will discuss with you about the things we would like you to do.
I have to explain that a fun chapter is a non-city chapter. We go from there. If it's
Turbojugend Deutsche Schlager or Turbojugend
Jägerbombers or
Jägermeister or whatever.
Or Turbojugend I Love Tequila, all those.
So they would have to check in with you guys.
Yeah, we will reply to them. Like, you have people that respond like, hey, everything's cool, I want to start Turbojugend, let's say Jägerbombers. And we will say like, look, I like your name, but we would like you to start a local chapter. Because if you start Turbojugend Jaeger bombers, you'll get someone who wants to start Turbojugend vodka lovers or Turbojugend tequila lovers, and you will get a ton of fun Jugens. But in the end, we don't know if you guys will be active or not.
Okay.
And in our opinion, if you start a local chapter, the chance of being active is bigger than with a fun chapter.
Exactly.
Especially if you start a fun chapter like worldwide. Some people want to do it like, I want to start a worldwide chapter. But how will you ever meet your members if some of your members live in Asia or some of them live in Africa or America? You will never meet up. So how can your Jugend be active if you don't see the rest of your members?
And at the end of the day, Turbojugend is a fan club for the band Turbonegro. So, I don't understand. That kind of sums it up for me. If you're not into Turbonegro, why do you want to join the Turbojugend? If you want a jacket because it looks smart, I mean, denim.
It does look smart.
Yeah, denim is back in style, so they say. So, but at the end of the day, we're a fan club for a band, and if you're not into that band, why the fuck do you want to join that fucking club?
Do you get a lot of inquiries about Jugend just wanting to have a jacket with a cool name on it?
You can when people apply to the Jugend, you can understand who are doing it for the love of Turbonegro or the love of just what a jacket which got a cool fucking name on it. You get to recognise these kind of things.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, I can't stress it enough, we're a fan club for Turbonegro.
We're still, and let's keep that in mind, we are a fan club of the band Turbonegro.
Exactly. And how can I stress it anymore?
Yeah.
Apart from...
In my opinion, the fun part about Turbojugend is like meeting someone, looking at the back of his jacket and see like, oh, this guy is from Aberdeen, this guy is from the US, this guy is from Canada, Germany, you know where you're from. But as soon as you have a fun name, you wouldn't know where he's from.
Exactly. So does it even go to the point that we would like to have Turbojugend to be a live thing and not an interactive thing on the so-called internet?
Yeah. The thing is, the internet is cool, and you have.
We all get the porn and
we all have
fucking. We learned about that.
Yeah, but you have the Facebook, and you're on Facebook, and you send text messages, and that's all cool. But the best part about it is like meeting people,
having a beer.
Yeah,
like say having to travel, meet like-minded people, and having a beer. That's all I want is to meet people.
Yeah, if I look now, I have people from Scotland staying at my house. I have a guy from.
Singapore
staying at my house
tonight.
Yeah. Just because he sent me a text.
Is he good looking?
If you like the people from Singapore, he's good looking. I don't know what your taste is in men.
Totally fine. Yeah.
But he sent me a text like, "I'm coming to Speedfest. Is it okay if I say?"
And he's from Turbojugend?
Yeah, Turbojugend Singapore.
Awesome.
So and he sent me a text like, "I want to meet up," and that's the fun part about Turbojugend. And it's better meeting someone in person than meeting someone on the internet. Because some people sit behind their keyboard and they're turned into keyboard warriors and they're tough guys, but once you meet them in person, you're like, this is a cool guy.
Yeah.
And it's always different seeing someone in real life than behind the desktop of your laptop,
Yeah. So the point is that if somebody applies from wherever he is and he wants to start a fun Jugend, what would your first step be, really, if you get this inquiry?
It depends on the name of the chapter. If it's Turbonegro or Turbojugend affiliated, we might discuss it and think, well, yeah, it's quite good. If it's something out of the fucking blue, then we speak, me, Jan, Pandima, and we discuss. Well, is it really Turbonegro? Is it Turbojugend? If not, no.
Okay, so there are cases that you would refuse.
Yeah, well, yes. There's ones we have done, but we try to get as many people as possible into the Turbojugend. We want the fan club. We want to keep them going. We want it to be active. But if you're going to come up with a stupid, well, my personal opinion, a stupid name, well, no, we're going to think twice.
Okay.
If you've been in the Jugend for like 5-10 years, and you come up with a fun chapter, it might be slightly different, because if we know your chapter is active and we think, well, he's active and he's doing wants to do a fun chapter, we might think twice. If it's a new guy who totally out of the blue wants to do a fun chapter, then we discuss.
Because there's always the danger of meeting somebody who wants to go to a Miley Cyrus concert with a cool jacket, and we don't want that.
But no, it doesn't matter if you go to a Miley Cyrus concert.
But if you just want to get a jacket,
yeah. You notice the people that send you an email, like, I want a jacket to look cool, or look, I'm really into the band, I want to start a Jugend.
You can normally tell by the emails that people send us.
You can tell by the way they write it.
Yeah. And let's say, for example, I had a guy who applied for Turbojugend Belgium. But Belgium is a large area. So I basically told him, like, look, you can't have Turbojugend Belgium. Why not? Because there are a lot of older Jugens, like Genk, Antwerp, Ghent. And you can't overrule them by starting a new chapter, being a new member. So you need to start a local chapter. And the guy was like, okay, I understand. I will start a chapter in my town. And I met him ever since, and he's a cool guy and everything. And he's being active.
We would rather have the smaller town as Jugend as opposed to large areas. Because large areas include so many other towns within the area. So, like Jan said, why have Belgium when you can have so many towns and cities within that?
Yeah.
It's pointless.
It's the same thing that goes with the funny names or the creative names that you want people to join, to go local and join an existing chapter.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is our main goal, to have as many active city chapters as possible.
Because there's a point in having even local Jugens that maybe have not been active, and to get some new people involved into that.
And to reborn it, resurrect the chapter.
The resurrection, yeah, that's the point.
There's so many chapters out there who aren't active, and we need to get them active again.
Exactly.
If that includes new members taking over, boosting up, we will do that.
Okay, so that's on your agenda to try to. If you get somebody from whatever area to sort of funny chapter or some creative chapter to get them back to their local point and connect with the local Jugend.
Yes.
Even if that consists maybe contacting the old president and maybe even handing over the presidency to the new one.
Basically, when someone, like, let's say, for example, someone says, I want to re-enact Turbojugend Genk because they're inactive. We will send an email to every member in the Jugend. So every member in Turbojugend Genk will get an email like, are you guys still active or not? If we don't get a reply within 2 weeks, we consider it inactive. And we will resurrect the Jugend with the guy who applied for Turbojugend.
2 weeks?
2 weeks, yeah. We if you say like 48 hours, some people don't read their mails daily. But at least in 2 weeks, someone will have opened his mailbox. And if you have 14 members, someone will read it and they will tell us, like, look, we're not active anymore. No, we're still active, but we're not on the internet. And then we will tell the other guy, like, look, Genk is still active, you can't resurrect it. Or Genk is inactive. You can become the new president, but we'll leave every member in the chapter, and it's up to you to contact them, to tell them, like, I'm the new president.
Okay.
What do you guys want to do? Do you want to be active again, or do you want to quit? You know?
So if you don't get an answer from an existing chapter for 2 weeks, you will tell him
appoint a new president.
Appoint a new president. Tell him to if he wants to step in contact or go into contact with the existing member.
He becomes the new president. We'll change the rank of the old president to a member, and it's up to the new president to contact every member he has, because he can go onto his site and see all the contact details, like cell phone or email address. Yes. He can contact every member to tell them, like, look, I contact Jugendwart, they send you all a mail, I didn't get any reply, I'm appointed as new president. How do you guys want to proceed?
Okay.
Do you want to reactivate the Jugend, or are you still inactive and do you want to quit?
Okay, so that's a basic message that goes out to all the listeners. If you get an email from Jugendwart, you have to respond, because there's somebody else possibly wanting to join your Jugend, or if not active, possibly wanting to take the presidency or put some new life into the Jugend, right?
And the same thing is going to happen in 2015, because now we have over 4,000 chapters. And we know a few of them are inactive. So that's why you see the message popping up, like, your Jugend should be as your sex life active. So if you haven't updated your position on the map, you need to do it. Because January 2015, we'll look at the map, and then we start pointing out, like, okay, this Jugend isn't active. and we will move it into a separate file like inactive Jugend. We will not delete every info we have on the Jugend. But let's say, for example, Turbojugend Aberdeen didn't update his status on the map. We will move it into the inactive map we have. But as soon as we get a mail from Duncan like,
The only
guys,
chance it's going to happen is when I fucking die.
but nonetheless, then we get an email from Duncan like,
You'll never die.
like, why is my Jugend deleted? I'm still active. We will just move his file from the inactive map back to the active map, and everything will be okay. So we will not delete any chapter.
Okay, so that's a basic message. No Jugens will be deleted.
No,
They will be moved
There'll be a
to an
separate
archive.
file.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, like I said, we're a fucking fan club. We want active members. If you're not active, what the fuck are you doing with us?
Yes. Okay, so the basic message is no Jugend will be deleted, but you have to be on the map, right?
Yeah, we just make a separate list, active, inactive. And if you're not updated on the map, and we don't see your tower being pink, we will move you to inactive. The only thing you need to do is as president, you need to log into your turbojugend.net flag site and update your location on the map. As soon as we see it's active, it's okay.
If you can't remember your information, your password, email us again and we will
help you out.
Okay. So the thing is, there is a Turbojugend interactive map out there. It's a web-based interface and a map, like a map. Yeah. And you have to point out and activate it.
Every president has his flag site, you know? Mm-hmm. They type in turbojugend.net flag, they type in their login, their password. If they don't know it, they send us an email, we'll give them a new password. And as soon as they log in, you will see like, hello sailor, you have updated your map or you haven't updated your map.
Yes.
And if you see like, I haven't updated my map, you need to do it. And as soon as you set your location, your tower will turn pink. And that will mean like, okay, we can see this guy is active or inactive.
Yes.
And
the best thing to do...
I was going to say, everybody loves a pink tower, especially in Turbojugend.
A pink tower is always good.
Yeah, and the best thing to do is, like, even if you know, like, the Jugend living in the town next to me isn't active on the internet, tell them you need to log in and update your map. That way, more Jugens will be active on the map, and less Jugens will become inactive.
Okay, so the message is that check out your mails. All the presidents, or even not the president, tell your president, go on to turbojugend.net and log in back again, so you get the message that you have to, and I think that's maybe not all of the Jugens know that. You have to log in back to that and activate yourself on the Turbojugend map.
Yeah.
Right? And this can be accessed on turbojugend.net.
Flagge. It's P-F-E-L-G-E.
The original email would get sent to the president.
Yeah, so I know we all lose emails and we didn't get new girlfriends and changes for that.
Further that, go to turbojugend.net and it comes down with, you can find out where to send your email. It's Jugendwart.
Okay, so if you go to turbojugend.net, you will get the instructions.
You will see the instructions like this is what you have to do to make your chapter active on the map.
That's a pretty important message to all the Jugens. Go back onto your account and go back to turbojugend.net and reactivate it, or at least point out your local chapter. And even if you've done it, talk to local other chapters if they have done it. They will not be deleted, right?
And if you can't understand that, go to turbojugend.net and it will have the email address for Jugendwart.
Exactly. So the basic message is that all the presidents and all the Jugens out there should go to turbojugend.net to refresh the whole thing.
Yes. Yeah.
Go to turbojugend.net and point out where exactly you are. Put yourself on the map, and then you're set again. It's not about deletion, but it's about refreshing and clearing and optimizing our database, right?
You don't want to say dead weight, but there's a lot of fucking dead weight out there.
Yeah.
If you go into turbojugend.net and look at how many chapters we've got fucking ridiculous amount of chapters. How many of those are active?
We don't know.
Exactly. When we go to World Tagger, we always see the same faces.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
That kind of explains the fucking thing. We want to be in a fan club that's active.
Yes.
And I can't stress it anymore.
Yeah.
We want to be an active fan club. What's the point in being a fucking fan club and you're just going to sit at home? I'll sit with my fucking cooter and
in front of your PC.
And I feel cool. But you're not doing fuck all.
So live the real life and don't focus on Facebook. But
get out, meet fellow Jugens. That's what it's all about. Not buy the jacket, stay at home, you know?
Yes.
And we can't stress enough, we will never delete any chapter. We will just put you in the inactive file. That's it. but you will not get deleted, you know?
Yes.
That's it.
But the fun part about it, and you know it, is like going out, go to World Turbojugend and meet someone you never met before.
Even if you can't go to World Tag Events,
Anywhere.
hundreds of fucking chapter
Events.
parties, events.
Yeah. Look at Speedfest today.
I heard there's a really good one in Christmas time in Vienna.
Yeah.
I haven't made that yet.
A beautiful place and a beautiful party.
There you go. But for example, tonight, Speedfest, I met a guy, Turbojugend Beijing, I approved half a year ago. And I
From
thought,
Beijing, he came here.
Yeah, I thought I will
To
never...
Eindhoven.
Yeah,
Is there a flight there?
I don't know. I wouldn't know.
Wait.
But I always thought, like, I will never meet the guy in person. But I saw him today, you know? And the best part about it is, like, he walks up to you like, yo, I know you. You approved my chapter. I'm like, where the hell are you from? Beijing. So, you know?
Awesome.
You get good responses from people who, I was going to say past go, people who you set up chapters for. You get the odds thank you and yeah. I'm not trying to speak on the. I've been told. No, I won't go there actually. There's also the negative part. We won't go into the negative part because we're trying to build the Jugend. We want to keep it active as possible.
Exactly. So I think
time I'll tell you.
we got the main point across. Log on to turbojugend.net and get yourself on the map. Get yourself active. And even if you come up with a funky Jugend name,
even if you have a fun Jugend name and there is a connection to Turbo Negro, we will discuss it within Jugendwart, and that's me, Duncan, Pandemon, Marcus, Becky.
We have
and if out of the 5 people, 3 people say like, yeah, I like this name, we will approve it. But if out of the 5 people, 3 people will say, no, I don't like the name, we will not approve it.
We have had arguments amongst ourselves about chapter names.
Mm-hmm. What would be a no-go chapter name?
Like I said, Turbojugend Jaeger Bombers.
Yeah, we're going to go with that. I'm not going to say anything else.
Let's say...
it's an X-rated podcast anyway, so you can.
Yeah, let's say Turbojugend Foo Fighters. No, you're a fan club of Turbo Negro, not of Turbojugend the Foo Fighters.
If you're going to go... Okay, I have to say one thing. One of the most popular Turbojugends to create is Misfits.
Misfits. Do you want to join?
No. Turbojugend Misfits, we had so many requests for Misfits, and we say, no, it's Turbo Negro. And they said, no, we're talking about the word Misfits. And like, no. Because as soon as you see Misfits on the back, you think of the band.
Yes.
And it's like, no.
Yeah.
It's just not.
All right.
But like I said, for example, sometimes you get a request of a fun Jugend, and you think it's a fun Jugend. So I got a request, Drunken Duncan. And I send him an email like, I know Duncan is a cool guy, but why the hell do you want to start Turbojugend Duncan? And the guy actually lived in a town called Duncan.
Yes.
And the nickname of the town was Drunken Duncan. So if you explain it, and like, this is the reason why, and you give me a link, this is why the town is called Drunken Duncan, it's easier to approve a fun Jugend,
Yes.
But if you just come up with a name that popped into your head, it's more difficult. And we start to discuss it.
Okay.
That's it, the alternative. We have fun chapters and we try to get city chapters, but if your city has got a nickname and we can verify it, we'll go along with that.
All right. So the basic message is to conclude the conversation is that, yes, we are totally open to everything, but still we have to control it somehow to
to an agreement.
To an agreement and to
we have to. It's a fun club
to distillate the quality.
The Turbojugend is a fun club for a band, and at the end of the day, that is it. We have to remember we're a fucking fan club for a band. We can't do. That is it.
Yes. So and the message is okay. Everybody can come in. You guys know all about Jugend. You've been in the Jugend for ages, so you can judge it, and we'll believe in that, and I truly do, of course. But in the end, you will have to have some sort of reason to not join a local chapter, but go funky and find a funky Jugend. Yeah. And the other point is that yes, starting 2015, we want a database cleared and a good database. That means that if you're not active or if you think you can take another 2 months of answering to the Jugendwart's mail, no, please answer. We want to have it cleared now, and we want to have a good database for all. Because the emphasis is that if somebody wants to join a Jugend or wants to, for some reason, get in contact with us,
join your, talk to your local Jugend that should be active, and then you're all set.
Yeah, that's the main goal.
And, we will do Turbojugend Chibesta because we figure that's a good fucking chapter.
Following of my asshole. That's to the point. And if I finally get some friends, you'll win.
I would love to have that one Chibesta on the back of my. Well, maybe later we.
Yeah, you'll have something on your back. You'll have something on your back. I don't know if it's my name, but at least it's white and shiny.
Yeah, but I won't bring lubrication.
No, but that's gonna hurt them anyway.
It's better dry anyway.
Yeah,
it's more fun.
I'll spit a few times.
All right. So, all right. Thank you, guys. Thank you for your time. And let's keep all in mind we're Jugend. We're alive. We're not interactive, but we're alive in real life. And join your Jugens, contact your Jugendwart, and you're all set. Those guys know what they're doing.
Turbojugend. Yeah, we're fucking Turbojugend.
We're fucking Turbojugend must be
destroyed.
You
didn't know it, Duncan.
So thank you, Jan, and thank you, Two Hawks, for this good piece of information. And I would like to advise everybody listening to really be active and spread the word of going to turbojugend.net to once again not register, but really confirm that you are an active Jugend. We need that because we need to have a good and fresh database, and that's why even if you're not a president, spread the word and talk to other Jugens about that. Have you tell him to update the Turbojugend.net account, and you'll be all set and all good. Yeah, so that was the podcast, number 17, the podcast for November, which was a podcast solely dealing with Jugendwart, because we think it's an important topic we cannot stress enough. There's a bunch of people really working their ass off for nothing. I mean, not for nothing, but obviously they don't get money for that. But they really working their ass off to support them and make them and help them make Turbojugend.net and really reliable and good and actual and up-to-date database. They will appreciate that. What I also appreciate is seeing you Jugens out there on events. Never forget, Turbojugend is a live thing, and it's not a internet or Facebook thing. So check out the news groups, Turbojugend news on Facebook. They usually have a huge list of Turbojugend events that really keep popping up all around the globe. Since Christmas is approaching, there will be a lot of Christmas parties. Turbonegro is playing a few shows at the end of the year as well. So if you get the chance, go ahead and go to these parties and party your ass off. If you guys want to join my party, the Turbojugend Against Christmas party that takes place on Saturday, December 6th, go ahead, come to Vienna, book a flight or take a train or whatever, hitchhike or walk or take a bicycle, whatever. But come to Vienna to enjoy a night out in the beautiful Bach in the 16th district. We will be having two bands playing. There will be a Viennese Ramones cover band with yours truly on the microphone, covering the Ramones, and as we'll be supporting the wonderful band of Futto Negro, which is also Vienna-based. They sing, they cover Turbonegro and even old songs, but they sing in the Viennese language, which is basically a dialect of German. But awesome, they're really good musicians. So if you get the chance, go ahead and hit us up in Vienna. There will be approximately 100 Turbojugend members attending, or 100 to 150. So it's going to be a long night. We can promise that, with cheap alcohol and cheap hookers and cheap Turbojugend liquor. They do everything for money or for a small beer. So if you want to go to Vienna, please do so. I would gladly open the door for you and welcome you to the Turbojugend Vienna Christmas party. All right, so that's the end of the podcast. As usual, the Bengal digs in his archive and found something really nice for your ears. And I can only say that, Bengal, you've been doing a beautiful homework all the time for all these years. And I thank you for another piece of candy, ear candy that is, that you will be serving up and shoving up our ass. Thank you.
Christmas time is ahead of us. Do we like this time? Do we calm down, or is it rather a stressful time?
Maybe the most stressful time of the year? Probably you don't like what you are about to hear now. But if I could raise the interest at least in one of you for the most beautiful instrument there is in this world, it was worth it. I am addicted to the sound of the cello. It's pure magic to my ears. Music doesn't need always to be loud and fast. Okay, maybe it's not the right place for Turbojugend radio, but I don't care. Try to feel it.